Imagine finding your dad or grandmother in bed and barely breathing from overdosing, or losing your mother on the floor because she drank too much and she could not make it upstairs to her bedroom, wishing there was a way you could save these people around you. Today I will be talking about dealing and working with adults that suffer from addictions and how to gain their trust and build up your relationship to hope in due time they can be saved. You may not be interested in social work like I am, but you will always be faced with some sort of situation that this information would be useful to you and your family. It's not always easy to talk to someone about your personal issues, and a lot of time these people do not want your help. After deciding I would rather work with adults than children for the challenge, I knew I needed to learn and research ways to help communicate with these people. I will be explaining some basic principles for communication and dealing with adults in a rehabilitation center, and also techniques to help them communicate and to create a positive reinforcement that you can use in your own daily personal lives. There are some basic principles for communication and dealing with adults in rehabilitation. According to the article Drug Education, which was written by Patricia M. Wald, who is the chairman of Ford Foundation, states that we must be direct sometimes, such as we call an adult person like a child. 3 qualities to help with being direct without harming the relationship would be to be stern but not to be aggressive, calm and not to lose your cool, and always be respectful towards this person or family member. In the 2010 book Drugs in Perspective, which was written by Richard D. Fields, who is also an MD that did clinical work with substance abusers and their families for over 30 years, states that being direct is important, but so is word usage. A specific way it explains by presenting the facts in a straightforward manner, such as, I've noticed that you always drink almost a full bottle of wine over the course of an evening, but you should always use I, such as I noticed or I am worried. You can also mention the effects of alcohol or drug abuse on whatever that person cares about the most, such as their grandchildren. Now that we have talked about some basic principles of communicating with a drug abuser, now let's take a look on positive reinforcement that you can use. Positive reinforcement involves the addition of a reinforcing stimulus following a behavior that makes it more likely that the behavior will occur again in the future. Charles Zastrow, a MSW professor, talks about positive reinforcement in his book Introduction to Social Work. Zastrow has taught social work for years at the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater. Zastrow mentions different ways to reply to questions with positive types of addiction, and his main answer was positive reinforcement. He also mentions that the doctor is not always right because he does not know the person to the correct extent when dealing with tolerance of clients. For example, Jesse comes in and he mentions that this is the only phase. I am only drinking so much because I lost my brother a month ago. And the social worker could respond, alcohol is only a depressant, it will only make things worse. What other types of things do you enjoy? By this, he is using positive reinforcement. Jesse also comes in and says, well, the doctor said I could have a drink a day. And the social worker could reply, well, does the doctor know how much you drink during the day, and would you like me to talk to him? Which goes back to doctor's orders. Today I have discussed some basic principles for communication and dealing with adults in rehabilitation centers, and also techniques to help communicate to create positive reinforcement. If you are ever put in a situation in dealing with an older adult in your life with this type of issue, then you now know some different ways you can establish a trusting, healthy relationship that just might save this person's life. Helping an adult with these types of drug and alcoholic problems is not only rewarding to yourself, but it can also save someone's life that you care about. With this type of skill or passion, you will be able to build